And what is going on, everyone, on YouTube? Uh, Mark Gaming TV coming at you with the third reaction review video of the day. This time it involves the Florida State Seminoles upsetting the Alabama Crimson Tide. I said this in the preview that this could be a trap game for Alabama, and it turned out to be every bit of a trap that I imagined it would be. Personally, I did pick Alabama to beat Florida State. But somewhere in my head, something told me this is going to be a trap game. For those of y'all that saw the preview, you notice I said this could be a trap game for Alabama if they're not careful. Thomas Castellanos, Florida State quarterback, he called his shot. He said, and I quote, "They don't have Nick Saban to save them." They do not have Nick Saban to save them. He knew he could beat Alabama. He knew Florida State could beat Alabama. Florida State went in there and took care of business, and they did just that. They beat Alabama 31-17, and of course, Florida State stormed the field. Well, that's to be expected. But how we got there was crazy. And a lot of people are going to immediately say this is Ty Simpson's fault because this is Ty Simpson's first year as a starting quarterback for Alabama. And everyone's going to immediately jump to Ty Simpson being the issue. For one, I disagree. Ty Simpson was not the issue. Ty Simpson had a pretty decent game. He had over 300 yards passing. He had 2 touchdowns. He had a pretty solid game. You can't really blame it on him. You got to blame it on the fact that Alabama's defense could not stop the run to save their life. When you were back there giving up 230 rushing yards to a Florida State team who, by the way, went 2-10 last season. So they came in with a chip on their shoulder. That's why I said today's game could be a trap game. But getting a little bit off subject, when you give up 230 yards rushing like that, you're not going to win many games. I don't care who you are. I mean, that's the God's honest truth. Alabama looked very undisciplined. They looked very unfocused. And they looked like they did not want to win that game. Florida State, they came in with a chip on their shoulder. Thomas Castellanos called his shot. And when a lot of teams usually call their shot, I usually get worried because it usually means Alabama's going to stomp the living hell out of them. But not this time. Florida State, credit to them. Credit to Thomas Castellanos. Credit to Gus Malzahn. Credit to all those guys at Florida State. They played their tails off. They did what they needed to do. Credit to where credit's due. They got the job done, and they beat Alabama. So now for the first time since I was 7 years old, let me repeat that. For the first time since I was 7 years old, Alabama has lost a season opener game. Just to give you a little clarity on that, it is the first time since 2001 since Alabama has lost a season opener game. A lot of y'all may not even been born at that time. YouTube wasn't even a thing at that time, I don't think. Could be wrong. Somebody can correct me in the comments if you guys want to. But technology was nowhere near as it is today. Cell phones weren't even a thing. Or if they were, it was like a flip phone. Nothing like what they are now. Internet was so slow. It took you 4 minutes just to download 1 megabyte of data. That's how long it's been. Just kind of giving you a perspective. That's how long it's been since Alabama has lost a season opener game. And by the way, this did not happen whenever Nick Saban was coaching Alabama. Keep that in mind. So, if you're Alabama, you got some soul searching to do. Because next week, you're playing Louisiana Monroe. Then the following week, you got the Wisconsin Badgers coming into town. And honestly, I'm going to have to be a little biased here. Because one of my best friends is a Wisconsin fan. And honestly, if they're not careful, Wisconsin's fixing to come in there and beat the shit out of Alabama today as well. Or in 2 weeks. If Alabama doesn't clean their stuff up real quick. This is not falling just one man's shoulders. This is a total team effort. That's what a lot of people seem to have forgotten in terms of these upsets and in terms of how these games have been playing out today. I'll go back to the Texas-Ohio State game. A lot of people were quick to blame Arch Manning for Texas losing to Ohio State. This game, a lot of people are quick to blame Ty Simpson for Alabama losing to Florida State. You can't just put this on one specific person. This is a total team game. Total team effort. Total team all around. Today's game, or this afternoon's game, Alabama lost because they cannot stop the run. Alabama lost because they cannot stop Florida State. Alabama lost because Florida State had more heart and more desire to win that game. So, that's just my personal opinion. I told y'all I was going to start doing these videos, and I told y'all when I did this preview that this is going to be a trap game for Alabama, and I was proven correct. That being said, may do one more review game tonight. Just depends on what we got left over today. But either that or this will be the last review game we got for this week. But keep an eye out on previews for next week, because there are a lot of previews that we'll be talking about. Until then, Mark McCoy signing off for now. Y'all have a good night.